Hey everyone, welcome back to Unsealed and Revealed. I am your host today, Terry Smith, and with me as always is my good friend, six-scale aficionado, and a man whose enthusiasm is so boundless that we had to have a second show this week, Guy Klender. Hey Guy, how's it going?
It's going fantastic. It is great to be here with you, and to, yes, have two in 1 week and get to show off a very cool figure.
How much fun is that? I'm just really thrilled for it, like the opportunity, especially given the figure that we're looking at today, which is... I see right there you have the IG-11 figure from the Mandalorian by Hot Toys.
Yes. Anytime I get to do the Mandalorian stuff, I'm very pleased with myself that I've made sure I'm getting all of these.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like
I feel like this is the opportune moment to actually point out that we also have again with us today the incomparable Paul Hernandez, who's going to be moderating the show for us, giving it fielding all the audience questions and doing the usual rigmarole. How you doing there, Paul?
Doing well. Hello, everyone. Hello, gentlemen. And I'm really excited for one of our favorite guild members up there to be unsealed and revealed. To the rest of our guild members out there watching, remember, we are live on the Sideshow Facebook page and the Let Your Geek Sideshow Facebook group, of course, on YouTube, Twitch. I can see you guys on Instagram as well. If you guys have questions on Instagram, let us know. And on Periscope, I believe everywhere.
Yeah.
We're live everywhere.
Wow. All over the place. No pressure. None whatsoever.
All over the place. And Terry, thank you for accidentally segueing me into my last quick bit of news. And you got a little shield behind you. I don't know if anyone knows this, but before we get started, remember everyone, next Wednesday, that's March 10th, we have Captain America Day where we're celebrating 80 years of the Star Spangled Avenger himself. Head to side.show/Cap Day to see the incredible blog that was written by our team. And you can see everything that's kind of going on. We still need contestants for our game shows. Again, that's side.show/Cap Day. But I think we should get an IG-11 here. I'm pretty stoked.
I mean, is it safe to say that we'll be doing Captain America Day all day?
All day, yes. Captain America Day.
So we can do that all day.
We can do that.
We can do that all day.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Speaking of people who can do things all day, Guy, let's talk about the hero of the hour, IG-11.
All right. Let's take a look.
Man.
I love it. Little taller box because it's a taller figure, and I'm going to take him over to the overhead camera, and we are going to take a look, but we are continuing the artwork. This is actually of the figure, not a painting or photograph from it. We do have that cigar band with a couple of different style looks on it, different poses, which I'm sure you are going to talk me through a few. So let's jump over and...
I just might do that.
I
just have to say it that I'm really thrilled that they've chosen to continue with the cigar band. I think that it's a great way to just bring a little bit of extra pizzazz to the packages.
Yeah, I do as well. I know there's so many ways that people display their figures, and sometimes people will display them in front of the box, and sometimes people will have them, say, on a bookshelf. You just have them. Perhaps you don't have it out, but it's neat to have them like that, either with the figure or with the nameplate.
Yeah, and the way that they're thematically bound to the particular franchise or film, whether it's Rogue One or you can see the oranges that they have there for Mandalorian.
Yeah, I'm really liking the when you have a continuing thematic idea with these, and again continuing with the theme is I love the overlay photographs that they do. To me, it's that last.
That's a great one.
It's that tissue paper once you've opened the box. That there's one more layer before you get to the big surprise. And I like that.
But look at that. It really makes it worthwhile.
Exactly. It's and it's a nice idea because it's also showing you ways in which you can do the figure. Because almost always, in fact, always, it is a photograph of the figure itself, which I like. And so this is a bit of an action scene. We're going to lift that up, and then we've got our clamshell here. And of course, we have our instructions, the all-important instructions. Make sure you have those. There's not a ton that it's going to tell you in here, but we do want to have you go over those and, of course, look into all of the safety features and the what to be aware of on there. So what you've got in the front here is going to be your figure. Now, I've removed some of the plastic. There will be plastic over the feet, hands, and head. Okay. We've got our bandoliers. Our open chest area, you're going to have your batteries. I've already placed them in the two. And his two weapons, along with underneath you have the base. So let's bring this over to the table and get going.
Awesome.
All
I'm
right.
noticing quite a bit of color on the little bit of burnished color, like effect going on there, like is it oxidation or?
Yeah, they've done that is an incredible thing they've done with this particular one. When you take a look at him there, and we're going to have Sam do some close-ups and some up and down on the figure, but the metal use, the pitting, the dirt, the wear, really giving that idea that it is made of mixed metals.
I really appreciate that effort.
Yeah. If it was just a
Instead of being
solid
so
color,
monochromatic,
or something like that, it wouldn't work as well.
Yeah, now the IG-88, both the figure and the prop itself, I think were much more monochromatic than that. I'm really glad that they chose to go this route. It
Exactly.
really brings some rich depth to the color, to the figure itself.
Yeah. Now we're taking a look with both a little bit of underlighting as well as with it off, and that is because I do want you to see all of the different ways and the way in which the light catches.
Yeah, look at that.
I mean, all of the little tubes. What was fun is, when they made the original character for Empire Strikes Back, he didn't even have a lower section. That was all created later on. So, and then they really
and of course, everybody, for those who don't know, the IG-11 head, and also I guess the IG-88 head actually is what it was, but the IG-88 head was used as a prop for a drink dispenser in Episode 4.
Yeah.
So that's really they just kind of ported that over from,
which I think is so fun. That's the fun used element that the Star Wars galaxy has given us.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about some of the fun first features as we're going to move our head all the way down. The top lifts off. You can see there's a little magnet. Little tab.
Now that's handy. That's handy. It's just magnetized.
It's magnetized.
No twisting, nothing. Okay.
Nope. And then underneath, it's going to be your battery compartment.
Handy.
Okay, 3 of the batteries that it comes with allows me to
look at that light up feature.
All
that
right.
is nice and bright.
Really nice and bright on this one here.
Yeah, better than I expected.
Yeah. They are nice and bright. So I'm going to put this back on here. I'm looking at it different. There we go. Okay. Now, what's neat is the ability to move that all the way around. All right. Again, they are very, very bright.
How many different bands do we have there?
We have this band here.
Yeah.
The upper band here.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the entire.
So 3 points of articulation before you get to the neck.
Just in his skull. Before we go anywhere, you have the 3 points there.
Oh, that's beautiful.
This is such a fun one. I know that he's a bounty hunter that we all thought was very neat in Empire Strikes Back, and now that he's been given all of these backstories,
Representative of him,
and then when they did so much with this particular guy in Mandalorian. So he's one I really, really like. When we work our way down, let's take a look. Next thing we see is we have our chest area there, and we have the different metals. Now this one here, the other accessory that's going to come in the box is going to be this one here. Multiple times throughout the episodes, the front panel will slide down, and he'll talk about being self-destructing. Now take a look at this. This is where your other 3 batteries go. And
nice.
I love that it flashes. Okay? Very easy.
The whole thing was just such a great dynamic. It almost evolved like immediately upon them meeting each other into this buddy cop dynamic.
It did. This is one of the easiest battery inserts you're going to have on any of the Hot Toys figures. This is flat right in the back, and then the one right up top. To remove, simply pulls out.
Easy peasy mac and cheesy.
Place in the other, okay? Giving you that option. I like that it flashes. I don't know why for a second I was like, oh yeah, and you'll turn on the chest light. Oh no, it actually does the flashing, which is just a really fun extra little point there.
It kind of really drives it home. It just adds just a significant bit of life.
Exactly. Now, as we move down, you look at all of the little gadgets, the little pistons and things, and I do want to talk about which things move and which things do not.
Please do.
Look at that paintwork that is in there.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Now, what I did when I was rewatching the episodes that he's in last night, which I have a feeling you do too. I know you're almost a daily watcher of the show.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. Was to see like, okay.
Stop telling lies.
And because he can spin and move, it'll differentiate at times. But the kind of the large barrel is usually toward the back. Now you see that it does have some wiring on there. Now those are a molded harder plastic. These are not a soft element. So please be cautious about that. So when I'm moving the figure, and we are going to obviously talk about articulation, I'm not going to be putting my hand anywhere near there. I'm going to be up on the chest area to be doing any twisting because I don't want to damage those at all. All right, I'm going to move the hands out to the side, and we're going to have Sam continue with the downward pan of the figure. And seeing all of the... Again, take a look at the difference of the metals.
Look at that gradient in the...
Yeah,
in
look
the
at
weathering,
that.
Right?
Yes. Now, again, we
nice
talked about
gradual
the wiring. Any of them that are in here, please be cautious with. Now, where
so they're not really pliable or anything like that. You won't. You can't bend them.
You're going to want to be cautious. They are.
Can I pose the wires, Guy? I'm asking if I can pose the wires.
Exactly. That's a great way to. Can I pose the wire? Because we've had underwire and capes and things like that. No,
it's true.
You're not going to be flipping the wires outward. You do want to be cautious. Now, in your directions, it's going to show you your range of motion. We're, of course, going to go over that. But I do want to tell you that the wires are long enough to not impede any range of motion.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Look at the thigh area here. This is what I'm really liking, because it looks like there's been heat, there's different types of metal, there's dirt. He has been around. These guys are moving and going places.
Right. Now, Paul, really quick, we're about 15 minutes into the show. Do we have any questions thus far?
I mean, we definitely have a couple. Guy, I think people, because you have it in hand, some people have this on pre-order. They want to know what's the weight feel like? What is some of that? What does the weight of IG-11 here feel like?
All right. Now I didn't bring my scale today. Next to a which I do have, and I will probably keep that here on set. So anytime that somebody does ask, we can talk about that. Particularly like when we did Mando, when Mando and Heavy Mando, what kind of weight says. But he does have a few die-cast parts, and having those toward the lower end of the figure is giving me a nice secure base. Particularly because he has the tall legs. He's a tall, lankier individual. So that gives him a bit more heft and puts him weight-wise about the same as you have with your regular 6-scale figures. Like the Captain America we looked at, Mando, or some of the others. He does really have the same type of weight on it.
Okay. Awesome.
But coupled with those big fat feet, I can see how you would definitely stand pretty well.
with the droid feet.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
That guy's rocking like size 15, 16, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So he does have a decent weight. Doesn't feel flimsy, and you can see I'm not putting him on any stand or anything like that, and I'm not worried that he's going to be falling forward.
I admire your confidence, my friend.
We will show off the stand later, but as you can see, in just a standard pose, we're not having to worry about that. Paul, other questions before we keep going?
Yes, we did have a question about the magnet that's on his head there. People want to know what is the strength like there on that magnet?
Well, I'm not going to hold the figure up by said cone there, but right now I'm giving it a little bit of pressure. Right now, I'm kind of lifting. I'm not doing my mime technique here. And it is
nice.
Holding well.
That certainly inspires confidence.
Yeah, so I think probably the question is, if I'm moving the figure around, is the thing going to drop off when I go to put it up on my shelf or something like that? That's not going to be a worrisome deal. That's not something one needs to worry about. Anything else, Paul?
I think you were getting right into it next.
All
time.
right,
People wanted
which is
to know
probably
what's the range
our
of motion look like.
which is articulation. What I want to show
Yes.
here is the joints here. And then we're going to also talk about these. Now up here, we got that full 90, which, as we know, one of the coolest scenes we had in there is, I mean, look at that. Sam has to go for a wide shot. Just to show, I mean, this guy is as wide as he is tall. Almost. But when he has both blasters going, and of course we will be talking about the blasters as well. So you have a 90-degree straight up. No more than 90, okay? The nice part about this figure is you know when you've hit your range of motion. Okay, you know when you've reached the level. It can't go any higher. And of course,
it just straight
not
up
only
says
by
no.
design and look, but on feel. I don't have to question like, can I go a little higher with it? Nope, I know exactly. 90 is where I've got it.
Manufacturer's protocol limits my motion to this exactly.
Exactly. Now, forward and back,
There we go.
I can go full around. Okay.
So you can achieve the illusion. You can basically do the same thing that you would try to do by raising that arm beyond the 90 degrees that you have there on his right arm by just rotating that shoulder joint and then bending the arm down.
Exactly.
So there are ways that you can
boom.
do that. Yeah.
What you were
So that
saying
you
is to
essentially have
do
an unlimited
that.
range of motion. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Exactly. Terry, it's so good to have a Postmaster General here to discuss these.
You know that I'm glad to be here. So,
Which is fantastic. Let's move down to the next point of articulation, and that's going to be here at the elbow. Now, this is actually a soft, rubberized gasket look to it. And we go to about 90 with a hint more.
Okay.
Okay? Now here at the wrist, and this is some delicacy, and this is the things to talk about.
Yeah, that looks interesting.
We're going to see that joint. Okay? You're also going to see right there. That is your pivot point. Okay? That's going to pivot upward, pivot downward. It is not a ball joint that's going to move in all directions. Okay? So be cautious. Anytime you're posing the hands, be a little bit more delicate. Each one of his fingers is individually articulated. Okay?
At all joints?
At all the joints. And when you have something that small, Terry, it's great to have you here to discuss that, is you do want to be careful and obviously be toward the point of movement.
Yeah,
when doing it.
that's really crucial, and I try to talk about that as much as I can in whatever show that I'm on. But the further out from any point of articulation you get when you're manipulating an appendage or an extremity, the more pressure that you apply to the joint itself, and the more likely you are to break that figure out.
Exactly.
That joint.
And with something like this, where it's a delicate, small spot, that's even more important. Now, he does have 4 fingers, and as we said, each one is articulated with a huge range to go. So we can go very wide.
I'm really thrilled about this.
Okay.
This is fantastic. Look at that.
I know that we're going to be getting in the future the speeder bike guys, so it'd be pretty neat to be able to have him hold, and you can see it can go very wide with that. When we talked about
really quick.
Yep.
Before, for those watching who may be unaware, there's a crucial difference in that hand, the hand on IG-11, that differentiates it quite a bit from IG-88, and that's that the IG-88 droid only has two pinchers. There's only 2 fingers, one on either side. You could just say one finger and an opposable thumb, so to speak.
Yeah, this has
having that.
Yeah, this has quite a bit. I want to jump up again back to articulation. One point that might be a little different. We did talk about that you have all of the rotating ability, but he does not have a neck that moves forward and back. It is in an upward stance, okay? So do not try and push the neck forward or down. He doesn't tilt that way. All right? That's one I want to go over. Normally you see some type of neck articulation, but in this particular droid, we do not have that. Nor do I think that we need that.
Yeah, I don't think it was present in IG-11. I'm sorry, in IG-88 either. I think that's correct.
Now
it's unnecessary.
The joints in the hand are nice and tight. Okay. Again, be slow when you're doing them. But the reason I think it's important that they're nice and tight is obviously we do have 2 weapons that the character holds.
Yes.
And if they were loose, blunk, we now have them down on the floor. And we don't want that.
Yeah, again, that goes back to the how much I appreciate the extra phalanges.
Yes.
For this guy as opposed to IG-88.
Correct.
Yeah, just the E11 is one thing, being able to wield an E11, but the DLT-20, the long blaster, having that extra weight out the front just kind of takes it to the tipping point. It's a lot harder for him to hold on to it.
Yeah,
but
and
I can perceive that there's no trouble with it here.
Again, one of the things I thought was so fun when we saw this character as the droid was him spinning in all directions.
Just so dynamic.
Just whoosh,
and yeah,
whoosh,
just
whoosh.
going back to again IG-11, you just see a droid just standing there. I mean, as you said, he wasn't even for a while there. He wasn't even a full figure. But just actually being able to flesh out what we knew that this droid had to be capable of, and seeing it perform in that way on screen, so exciting, so thrilling.
Yeah. Now,
and for those of us who played that game back in the '90s, that where IG-88 was, oh my god. I think that's the first time I ever cursed out loud at a video game. It's just such a hard and frightening stage in that game. But
now, as you saw, I'm able to spin it completely around. I talked about having all of the kind of accoutrement and cylinders and such there, but I don't want to be holding on to that when I'm doing those movements. So I'm actually holding down by the thigh and then the upper chest to do that.
Wow. Yeah, cool.
Okay.
How far does it go?
Oh, I can 3.
No.
Whoosh.
Oh, that's so cool.
Whoosh.
That is so wild.
Yeah, so what's fun is that you can have those wild poses where he can do something that's not humanly we're going to be able to do, where it's totally to the side.
And that's what makes him
where
so
the legs are there.
efficient
That's what makes him so
exciting.
different and so fun and so unique. All right, next we're going to move down, and I'm going to ask Sam to do a close-up here, and we're going to talk about our leg joints. Right here, we talked about that there's the rubberized gasket. There's also the rubberized gasket when the legs go outward. Okay.
Can he do a side kick?
He look at that. Hiya.
There's your answer.
All right.
Nice.
Now this is when I would use a stand.
This is also a very good opportunity for us to bring up our usual sequence.
Yes, we're gonna spin that foot around. Are you
Definitely
ready?
time for tread watch.
It's coming. It's coming.
Nice.
Bam. All right. Unlike an R2 unit that would have like the roller wheel, says more of a gripping traction on there.
Nice.
Since we have it there, we're going to talk about the articulation of the foot.
Okay.
Because this is one thing that I did like that they put in the instructions, and they do this from time to time, is showing you what exactly your range is. And this is, according to them, is about a 30 degree. What this allows us to do, and we're going to do this in a minute, is when I do have them in a wide stance like that, I can still...
I love the way you said when you do a wide stance like that. So, so I know
can
what's
still
coming.
do the flat foot. Okay, as you can see, I can still, when I go wide.
Yep, that gives you plenty of play.
All right, so we've got that there. Next up is going to be in the. Yeah, I love the metallics in this. I really do.
What about his guns?
Oh yeah, we're going to show those off. The last articulation point we're going to show off is going to be the knee, and then we're going to arm this fellow up. All right, knee.
I think it looks great just like that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Now, remember I was spinning it around.
Yes.
And saying, well, you can spin it any way you like. Yes. However, the knee does only move in one direction, and that will be backwards. To know where you have the front, it's going to be the 2.
Okay.
Okay, so that does differentiate where the front of your figure is.
That's important. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Important to know. Again, they have that gasket, giving you plenty of range.
Yeah, that's more than you need. For
Yep. This will give you 90. So most of the joints on here are 90. Okay. Whereas the head and waist are a full around.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome.
So that's there.
So that's
Last bit, we talked about that the head does not tilt forward, nor does the waist. Of course, these are all robotics. He's not that type thing. Now I can forward here, of course, at the hip, but there is no torso articulation points. All right.
okay.
Now we're going to show off some weaponry, but before I do that, Paul, anybody have articulation questions?
Yes. Hi. Sorry there. Yes. So we do have a couple of questions about, I think a big one was the 360 rotation at the waist that you had already done. But people really want to see two things. Obviously, they want to see the guns that he comes with, as well as the base. And then when you get to the base, Guy, if you wouldn't mind, we've had a question on all of our platforms here. With the base, with him on the base, I'm sorry, is he, in your opinion, DTOF friendly? Like, would he fit in an average size DTOF?
Oh, okay. Terry or Paul, if you have an opportunity and you can look on on the IKEA site, it does actually have the height. I don't have it memorized, darn it. I should know my individuals inside. I want to say it's 13. So I think you're going to be okay. I think you're going to be okay with stand. Because the stand has been brought up, let's take a look at that. Okay, this is a base style that we've seen before, where it has some footsteps and the sand. Chrome with the IG-11. Now, it is a waist cinch versus going underneath.
No groin grabbers here.
Exactly. So it's an around. But let's take a look at what height he would have. All right, so I'm going to bring my scale and a measuring tape for everybody from now on, so we can have that. But we will take a look and talk exactly how tall he is. But there he is on there, so he is impressive.
Guy, let me just interrupt. I just want to say that Paul has just interjected in the chat that it's about 15 inches high. The DTOF shelf is about 15 inches high, so seems like IG-11 should be pretty good.
Should be good. He should be good.
I mean, he's a tall guy, but that base isn't that tall. So
no. The base is kind of your standard 1/4 inch with an additional, so you have about under 1 inch addition to the character size if you choose to use the base.
Okay, cool.
Yes. Right, so. Yeah, as producer Sam said, you can bend his knees. You would want to kind of have him in a action.
Yeah, you don't have to have him straight up and
correct
standing tall. If
exactly.
It's actually measuring his height.
Yeah, exactly.
Every little bit lowers him ever so slightly.
Exactly. So that's the base that we've shown off. We've got a couple of extra points to show off, and that is going to be this one here. That's going to be the blaster. Sam's going to give us a close-up. This is his big, heavy guy. That
is the DLT-20 for those who are looking for exact specifications.
Nerd.
It's true.
I believe it's called Knowledged Individual, but there are abbreviated versions of that phrase. But loving the texture, and I love how it does have kind of a throwback to kind of that old school toy that we had of it.
Yes, exactly.
Where it does kind of have that clunkier large bit. Some nice weathering. I like how up in the front here it has a differentiating. It almost has kind of a brass type nose piece.
There. Oh, does it? That's cool.
Yeah, as far as the look.
That's a great attention to detail.
And then, of course, you can't go wrong with everybody's favorite.
E11, yeah.
With everybody's favorite. And yes, this is the articulated ones that we've seen, where your whole stock.
Beautiful.
We'll go back and open. All right. Again, wonderful weathering.
Again, for those not in the know, that is a rifle whose the foundation is based on an old World War II British submachine gun called the Sterling.
Yep.
Yeah. And they just built it up around there.
Built it on it. And then now the last is going to be his bandoliers. Okay, we see these on and off throughout the episodes. And on the back here is going to be one Velcro tab. Okay, so I'm going to take that off there. So There we have it.
You know what I didn't pay attention to is he wearing those when he's in his capacity as a nurse and or server of tea?
No, he is not.
He only wears those when he's actually in a combat
Correct.
situation.
We have him when he's out in the very beginning in quest mode, shall we say? Now, if you're
that's a very important thing to point out to people when they get this, because if you decide to display IG-11 in his role as nurse, say taking care of the child, then you don't want to have those bandoliers on him.
Correct.
That's an important thing to know.
Now, in order to put the
Personally, I wouldn't do that, but
exactly. In order to put the bandoliers on, it's very easy with the single tab as far as the Velcro. You're going to take the one arm and fully extend it. You are going to take and remove the magnetic head spot.
The Marvel fan of me thought you were going to say Magneto. It's true, yeah.
And I'm going to slide both over, up, and over.
Yeah, you made that look much easier than I thought.
Yeah, it's obviously be careful as you're going up and over the head, because you do have the little protrusions that he could bonk on. But other than that, you're pretty darn set for being able to put him where you need him.
Okay. That's already looking really killer.
Boom.
Just having those bandoliers added to him just adds to the figure.
Yes.
Quite a bit.
Now, I do want to say it may look like I'm having a little difficulty putting the little top piece on. I'm actually looking downward at a light. So when you have the figure probably at home, you're not going to be doing that, and you will see that there is a little notch in there. All right.
Okay.
So let's throw a weapon.
Yeah, at least one
in here.
Yeah.
Well, he comes with two. I don't know. I don't know about you, Terry, but I was thinking two might be a good idea.
Guns, I'm of the opinion whenever you have two guns, you should probably use two guns.
You know, it is a gunslinger show.
It is. Oh, such a gunslinger show. Mm-hmm. As you pointed out, yes, I am guilty. I did just recently rewatch The Mandalorian season 1 and 2 all the way through, and I don't think it took me 2 full days to do it. I really put on a hardcore binge there.
I watched the 3 episodes with him in it last night again.
Okay.
Because I wanted to see.
You.
Well, I always like to see. Okay, well, how does he move? How does he go through? And is a fan who's ordering the figure going to say, "Hey, in this episode, in this frame, he does such and such. Can he do that?" I want to be able to tell you whether you can. Another articulation point is you do have your your bicep.
Oh, it swivels.
Mm-hmm. So you do have.
Good. That's screen accurate. He's doing that a lot. Yeah,
you do have a really wild. So there we go. There's 2 there, and I will do the full on 90 up and out.
Right.
As well. But I had a feeling that was one that people.
Can he go behind the back?
Can he go behind the back? Yeah. Now remember, you and I talked about that because you can take and adjust those arms by spinning them up and around. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If I want to have.
That's what I was thinking.
One here, one back.
Yeah.
And such. You really are going to have a lot.
I'm going to have so much fun with this figure.
This is going to be, he's going to be a lot of fun. I know we talked about earlier how is he with the base. You can see I'm spinning the guy with arms fully extended, and we're not having a balance issue. And I've gone straight leg. I haven't gone with any kind of crouching down.
Well, you know what? It's looking good so far, and I like what you're doing with it. I mean, I think we can probably tweak the pose a little bit, but more than anything, I'm kind of curious to see what he looks like with a Mandalorian figure. You don't happen to have any of those nearby, do you?
A Mandalorian figure. Do I have a Mandalorian figure? Yes, I do. Yes, indeed.
The answer I wanted.
Yes, indeed, I do.
Bring it.
What kind of individual would I be if I didn't?
Nice.
I would seriously be questioning your humanity.
Yeah,
right
I know.
That's how important it is.
You'd be disappointed with me if I didn't.
Oh, gee, Mando, right there in the house.
All right,
armored and everything.
Well, I've loved every version that we've had. We've had 2.
Yeah.
But this also is showing you the height difference. Okay, so that IG is a full head different, but
a full IG head different.
Yeah, exactly. So He does have some serious height to him, but for those who may have this figure and have him in your display case, and you've chosen to use his long gun in that case, and you're like, oh yeah, that fits, know that these figures will fit. Now, will he fit fully extended in yours guns and full 90? That's going to be snug, but it will be a cool look.
Wow.
All right, so
Super
these...
producer Sam, if you can hear me, is there a way that you can get me a close-up on the two of them? I just kind of want to see the way that the color palettes interact. Look at that.
Look at that.
Wow.
With
these two are made. Look at how well those colors just work together. I mean, that looks...
What I like
thanks for stepping out of the way there, because they really are made to be together. Yeah,
the browns, the tans... the grays that are in Mando's look.
Yeah, they complement
then going with
nicely.
those, with the different metallics, the kind of the copper, the brass, the aluminum, or the steel, whatever exactly the IGs are made from.
I just wonder if that was intentional. I wonder if that was by design.
What I've loved about the show is the amount of design work that's gone into it. Homage to other things, but then original design. So,
what you've got going on there with the back-to-back thing, that's just glorious. Let's
I dig the two of them. I dig the two of them together.
Well, I don't frequently go out of my way to look for ways to pair figures together. I think the most obvious one on my shelf, which is now dismantled, obviously, but I think that the only time in my display that I paired two figures together has been K2SO with a Stormtrooper that he's just got dangling from his hands. But this is going to be another one of those. I think you can count on it. On my shelf, this is how it's going to look.
Yeah, now you mentioned a neat one with that you have the K2 holding a Stormtrooper. We talked about how wide we can put the hand on him. So when you do get that speeder bike guy, you could do that. Now, if I would, I'd obviously want to have him supported. Probably both figures, of course. When you do that, but you have that.
Wow. Yeah, I'm going to want to do that too. It looks like I'm going to need two IG-11s.
Exactly. Now, I do want to bring up one more piece here. I'm going to set Mando out of the way. And as we know...
Oh, we got a child. I'm sorry you had to see that.
Well, however, as you know, we can recreate the whole scene there. So,
clearly.
Well, I can have... This is a single frame you didn't see. IG threatening the child, Mando right next to him, ready to end it.
I love the fact that when Mando does pop IG-11 in the head, he doesn't even look at him. He's just still staring straight at the child.
Yep.
As he never that gaze is locked, and he never breaks that lock. It's just...
There we go. Little gaze like that, you mean?
Little what now?
A little gaze looking down.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's just,
there. So if you have your different figures, this is just showing you ways you can pose them together. All right. With that one, of course. Now, IG and Mando do team up again later on. I'm going to move my original...
Hey, look at that glorious Beskar.
I'm going to move my original Mando off and bring up our Mando here.
You've got that table light on, right?
I do. If you'd like me to turn it off, I will.
No, I think it's fine.
Now, this Mando I do have on the stand, so we're going to see that height, and of course, Mando's size doesn't change there. So I'm going to quickly cinch him on here.
Now, the loss of the original armor doesn't really disturb the color palette the way that I thought it would. They still look pretty great.
That's what I wanted you to see, because you did bring up the color palette on there. Then when we get into the
because of the metallics on IG-11, that's still kind of there. The also the leather elements, obviously the bandolier and the belt and the holster and everything, they do kind of help to tie in the browns that you see in the IG-11.
No, exactly.
They still look good. You can go with either one. You can go with either one or both, or however you want to go about it.
And I am going to remove the bandolier because, if we're going to be, and you and I often are, if we're going to be scene specific or screen accurate, he doesn't wear that when he is in childcare mode. And so I am going to slide this up and off like so. Paul, what is anybody asking about other than, oh boy, what can I do? What can I do?
What kind of tea do Mandalorians drink?
Yeah.
I think,
Earl Grey.
Guy, you've answered everything so wonderfully. I can tell you now that people who have just joined us are sort of asking questions about things maybe that you've done earlier in the show, maybe like some of that full body rotation, some of that articulation. Like if they've joined late, they may have missed a lot of that. So if maybe when you have a minute, if you can go through.
Yes,
that,
of course. Let's
again,
slide him off to the side.
Head.
Yeah.
And let's.
It's interesting to note that, I mean, I think about what you can do with all that articulation. The fact that you can do a full 360-degree swivel, and that you can do the behind-the-back shooting and everything. And this would be a prime figure, if anyone were so inclined, to do some sort of, say, stop-motion photography with it.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see that happen. I don't have the patience for it myself or the time, but anybody who had an abundance of both time and patience that wanted to do that, I think you probably would be really thrilled with the results that you can get.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're out there, stop motion people, bring it to the table.
All right, so let's quickly go over articulation points again. First up, and we're going to work our way down. Sam's going to be very helpful on those. We have our first point of articulation. Get our first spinner right here, where we have the light up effect. You have your second. The secondary more like the standard, what we'll call, most would think to be his eyes. All right. And then the full head itself turns. We do not have a neck forward and backward.
And for those of you who caught my chuckle just then when he was just starting the points of articulation on the head, I'm just thrilled that you have 3 before you get to the neck. It's just not something you see every day in
not something you see daily.
Cool.
On that. So next up, our arm, we're able to go 90 to a full side bend. However, since we can rotate the bicep and we can spin the arm 360, you really get a lot more range. Elbow, we're going 90 and just a hint more on those. All right. Now, because that's that gasket, you may have to adjust a little bit on there to cover the joint, but that's fine. All right. There's the delicate ones that we've talked about down here on the wrist. And Sam, could we get a close one in there to show off those? Again, each finger is articulated. Okay, going out and back. They're not going up and down. Okay, so they do have one way. The important one is here in the wrist. See how that has a pivot? Okay, it goes that way. It can spin fully around, but it is not a ball joint that we have in most wrist pegs for, say, the humanoid figures. All right, to the side, we get a nice wide stance in his gymnastic type look. We get a 30-degree bend that we can do on the feet as far as to the side. Again, not a ball joint, but side to side. All right.
Just a posing tip right now. I just want to point out to anybody watching that I can't think of any time in which you would ever pose this figure with the legs that fully extend, but that spread out that far. It just would look ungainly. But
yeah, I don't think you would.
The fact that you can do it is pretty awesome.
Is a nice option. Your knees, full 90 there as well. And for those of you who may have missed one of our favorites, tread watch, right there another time. All right.
Now, something else we might want to cover here, Guy, is we've shown how he looks with Mando, but there's been a lot of buzz about the new recently released heavy Mandalorian 6-scale figure by Hot Toys. Any chance we can do a comparison with that guy?
Oh, would I have something like
Maybe.
that here
you would
around?
make my day if you did.
Would I? Boom.
I figured.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
you've got it all.
All right.
Look at the size of that man. Wow.
This is an amazing. This is an amazing figure. Heavy Mando is. If you have not ordered him, please do so. I would hate to hear from you later on. Gosh darn it, I screwed up. I really should have done that. And for Terry and myself and other collectors, that's a horrible phrase to say later on down the road. That gosh darn it, I missed out.
I've got one coming. It hasn't been shipped yet. But
Me too.
There's one.
Me too.
Yeah.
I know that they are shipping soon. But the color scheme on that one is fantastic. And this is also a nice way to show off how the metallics look on these figures. Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, he is a painted. A guy who's chosen to paint his armor in that yellow and blue, but you do still have the metallics in the gun and on his pack. But then you're seeing different metallic colors that are done in the IG, and again, different ones that are done with Mando being the best car and such. I'm gonna wake up.
I'm sitting here trying to think of the ways that you would actually pose all three of them together. It would have to be some sort of a, I don't know, like an Elseworlds kind of thing.
Well, that is your mythos. That is your mythos.
Yeah.
As you saw when I posed the IG Mando and the child together with IG over him, that was a single few frames that were not shown on screen because we never actually saw it happen.
Okay, so I'm sitting here looking at those three together, and I'm trying to think of what I would do in terms of an attractive display with all three figures.
Well, is three enough?
Three is enough.
I mean,
actually,
he also went up against these guys. I love my toys.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, he also went up against these guys. I loved when he came. Yeah, I love this guy. I loved when he came flying by in the speeder and just started blasting these guys.
Yes.
And launching them around. I did order a few of these because I do, when it comes to the troopers, I like to army build. And I'm just thinking, well, will I put IG on a speeder and have one of these guys kind of bent over as though he's been launched in the air? But again, these are just some of the Mandos that we've seen. In fact...
Well, while we've still got time, what else do you have there? What are you doing?
Whoopsie.
Oh my God.
Too many.
Oh, right.
Yes. Oh,
Nobody told
see,
me
now
we
when
were
you
playing
find out
dominoes on the show
how many
today.
figures is too many, I want to say, what have we seen so far? Well, it's neat. See, there you can go. You can recreate the self-destruct scene. So far in the Mandalorian line, we've seen the Death Trooper, seen our OG Mando, our deluxe Mando in Beskar. We've seen our heavy Mando. So we're starting to get a really good amount.
Can I do a pose request?
Yeah. Yes. Hopefully not with all five.
No, let's back it down. Let's break it down to let's pull out Beskar Mando. Get him out of there.
Beskar Mando I'm getting rid of?
Yeah, do away with Beskar Mando and do away with the Death Trooper for now.
Alrighty.
And I'm just thinking of how I would...
So currently I have heavy Mando.
Yeah.
I have IG and OG Mando.
And I'm thinking the child.
And the child.
Yeah, so you got a child there. Okay, good.
I do have him also in the
in the pram.
In a pram.
Yeah.
All right.
Leave that. Yeah, leave those at the side just for now. I might figure out a way to incorporate them later. But these are the three that I have on the way right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I have OG Mando here already, but the other two are still inbound. So I think that if I were going to be doing this, that you're going to want them to have some sort of a team posture going on.
Okay.
While IG-11 and Heavy Mando never actually connected with each other on screen, I think the impression that I'm going to try to give with a display like this is that the star of the show is Din Djarin, is the Mandalorian, so he's going to be front and center.
Okay.
But you'll have IG-11 and you'll have Heavy Mando want to either side of him and a little bit further back.
All right.
And you're going to want to pose them in a way that actually draws the eye towards Mandalorian.
Okay. So am I going to put Mando dead center?
I would say Mando dead center. It looks like he's holding his other gun right now. I would do away with that.
Doing away. Okay, long gun.
Go ahead and sling that long gun over his shoulder because it looks really cool that way.
Whoop. All right.
You've got the capacity to do that, right? You can just.
I do, but I'm going to have to do a little finagling as far as the loop.
Don't bother with that.
Just I do know that people have asked about that. Let's quick, you and I touch base on that because I know people have been getting their Mandos and question it. That little loop.
Yeah.
And the hole in the cape, you're going to pull that through, and that way when it slings up and over.
So you're going to demonstrate that right now?
No, because you're going to lead me through a 3-figure pose, and believe me, that's not going to happen instantaneously. So let's go with this.
Okay, so I'm going to have him. I don't even think I'm going to have him pointing the gun. I think that I like the idea of him kind of like having the gun down at his side.
Okay.
But rotate the pistol so that super producer Sam, can you pan down a little bit there for me? Yeah, the pistol just like that. I want the gun out to the side, like he's kind of displaying it.
Oh, you mean I predicted a pose? How well?
There you go. Good. Nailed it. Yeah.
All right.
I would also have him walk. You've got him not on a stand right there. So I think just having him there the way that he is right now is okay. But for the purpose of just because it's me and I like to do so, let's get that torso twist going. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I do.
So rotate him to his right. So the gun will be kind of coming behind him, and then take his head and compensate by turning his head more towards the front. Okay.
All right. Let's go a little wide there in our camera shot, so you can see it.
Yeah. Okay. That's okay. That's
little,
okay.
Little,
That's good.
Little crouch, little ready to pull it out if he had to.
Yes. Now let's bring in IG-11.
All right. IG-11.
The real star of today's show.
Coming in. Right side or left side?
I'm going to have him to my right. That's your left, Guy. There we go. Okay, good. Now, rotate him so that rotate his body towards Mando. Okay.
Upper chest or leg?
Toward Mando. The whole body.
Whole body.
Whole body. Yeah, I want those feet at like a 45-degree angle to the camera.
45 to camera. There we go.
Yeah. The gun in his left hand. He's going to raise that left hand, and it's going to be pointing to camera right, your left.
Oh, put back his large blaster. Hang on.
Yeah.
Let me blaster him up. I told you about the when you pinch those together, it holds it nice and snug.
That's good to know. That's very comforting.
It's not flimsy. So you want straight arm?
Very much straight arm, yes.
Straight arm up.
And not pointing at the front. He's going to be pointing out like I don't want to say 45 degrees to my right, your left, more like 30 degrees out. Yeah, that's it.
Right there?
Yeah. Now if he's looking like he's bent over a little bit at the waist. Is there a way we can correct that, or is that just his natural positioning?
Nope. I'm gonna.
You know how I like to get that sort of a little bit of a curve going. So just find the balance there with his feet.
You want any bend in the knee?
If it helps. Cool, got it. Let's get in there. Don't slap Mando. He will not take that kindly. I just really dig that OG Mando figure. I know the show's about IG-11, but I just can't stop looking at that figure. It's just such a great figure. Currently sold out, I believe, at Sideshow, but you can still get the Beskar Mando, which is equally awesome, but for different reasons. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get you to the E11.
Mm-hmm.
I want that arm at like 90 degrees. Just bam, 90 degrees, because that's how he holds it.
Oh, you want this at 90?
No, that's the DLT 20.
Oh, I'm sorry, the E11.
Yeah, the 11. Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking IG-11.
Paul, why are you laughing?
I do love that when you and I will talk about little blasters or this and the other, what they made something out of, and this and the other. That's always kind of fun. How's that?
Okay, that looks good. Let's get Heavy Mando in.
Heavy Mando.
Yeah. Which I cannot remember. Who is the actor who played Heavy Mando?
I don't know if you've heard that. Tate Fletcher.
Tate Fletcher, who I believe also played the bully in the first episode, right?
And he was on an
right?
episode of Joshy G's show.
No kidding.
Get Super
Oh,
with
that's
Joshy G,
fantastic.
and they
cool.
discuss. Now I have this one on a stand. Shall I remove from? I'm going to remove from dynamic stand.
Whatever you need to do.
He's not flying. So you tell me what we're doing with this guy.
Get Super with Joshy G. That's what we're going to do with that guy. Okay, so
He looks like he's taken a bunch of Joshy's.
okay, I kind of like the look of that pose that's going on there, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to rotate him at his feet about 90 degrees. We're going to kind of keep that pose that he's got going there because I kind of dig it. Another 45 degrees there, Guy. Then what we're going to do is we're going to turn his head to compensate. We're going to turn his head to the front.
Are we going to have guns going out this direction then?
No. Well, actually, you know what?
Because otherwise I'm going to bonk into our...
You know what? Don't even change it. Bring it in. That pose looked great. Bring it back to the way you had it. Yeah, feet of 45 degrees to the camera and just have him looking over his arm like that, like he's at a ready position. Look at those guys, man. That's really cool.
I'm going to step out of the way. And of course, they're all here.
Yeah.
Or should we have
I would probably tweak them a little bit if I had them in my hands, but for the purpose of the show, I think what we've done is really, really tight. I also would like to take Mando himself and move him about about an inch or two further forward. They're too much in a line right now. I kind of want him out to the front. There we go. Now we got a display.
All right. Child standing or in pram?
I think standing.
Standing.
Yeah.
Right side or left side?
Dealer's choice.
All right. How do we do?
Step aside.
Well,
let's ask the class, man. I mean, how's everybody feel? How's everybody feel out there in social media universe? I think it's okay. I would probably play with it again. I would probably tweak IG-11 a little bit more, but I haven't had my hands on him, so I'm not 100% familiar with what he's capable of. But,
that's the fun part.
Yeah.
I love that you and I get to go over these, and then when they get into your hands and the hands of those that are watching, you get to go even further into it.
I've got to say also that whoever actually did the pose on that heavy Mando, props to whoever that was because it's a really solid pose.
Well,
I would be very proud to have that on my shelf. So,
yeah, I think it's really fun, and thank you for putting these three together.
Yeah, that's magical. I'm really stoked.
I love his little detonation light. It's just a little extra that if it was just a solid light, that would have been fine. But the blinking is really a fun thing to have there. So I'm just trying to step out of the way so you can enjoy it.
You're doing well, man. You're doing well, my friend.
It's a lot of fun. Paul, do we have questions?
No more questions. Everyone is absolutely loving the new Unsealed, Revealed, and Posed with you two.
Are you going to officially add that to the title?
For me, it's technically an online class, right?
Our call. Yeah, no. But everyone is loving it. They love the pose. Someone made a really fun comment that said it looked, Guy, like, one of the directors is ready to say, and action.
Oh, nice.
So great together.
They may make a Favreau in a chair and a Video Village setup that we can have. I don't know if they're going to be making those, but...
It's just such a crime that we're not going to actually be able to get this team up. I think it's pretty clear that there's really nothing left of IG-11 at the end of that episode, or at the end of that season. But there are a lot of IG units out there.
There's a lot of IG units. We don't know if you can transpose memory into another. Who knows? And I love that. I love the goodness knows.
Oh, yeah.
I never speculate. I just enjoy it and savor it in.
True.
Geez, and we're melting.
Did they really just drop you into the lava cave?
And producer Sam said, I've had enough. I'm melting this guy.
Okay, great. Well,
he's great. Yeah. Make sure you get him, folks. He's one you're going to want if you have the. And the neat part is, yes, if you do have the OG Mando. Obviously, as we've seen right here, goes great with him. But remember, once Mando gets all his Beskar, IG makes an appearance again, and that of course comes into nanny mode.
That was just so fun. Such a fun twist.
Which was a great thing, so I like them both.
And a great growth. That they never underestimate the value of IG-11 as a tool for Din Djarin's growth as a person. But just breaking him away from that understandable yet somewhat irrational fear or hatred of droids in general.
Yes, that's a neat thing that they've done. That if it was just Gunslinger show, it would still be great. But when you have evolution of character, look at how fun that guy is.
Yeah.
Look at how
everything about him.
Right.
Well, if there are no more questions, I think it's probably time to wrap up the show.
I love that we got to do this special episode.
Me too. I hope we get to do a second episode sometime in the near future. Another Thursday episode, for instance. Just to remind everybody, we are going to be doing the Spider-Man opening, unboxing, and posing, apparently. The Spider-Man Advanced Suit 6-scale figure by Hot Toys from Spider-Man Far From Home. Really looking forward to that. I've heard a lot of great things about this figure, and I'm just looking to see exactly what it's capable of. So tune in next Tuesday for that. Also, don't forget on what's the date, Paul, for Captain America?
That is March 10th.
March 10th.
Wednesday.
Excellent.
Next Wednesday.
The event, again, all live streams start right at 9 a.m.
Yeah. Just a real quick correction. I just caught that but I missed. It was not the advanced suit. The advanced suit is something we did a long time ago. It will be the Spider-Man upgraded suit.
He's upgraded. Very much.
Yeah, thank you. So apart from that, we look forward to seeing you here next week for both those events. And until next time, don't forget to let your geek side show.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.